Sal Pal Friday. Sal Paolantonio and his appearances thanks to the Griner team at Berger Realty in Ocean City and Upper Township, over 35 years experience. That's Johnny G, who brings us Sal Pal every Friday here on the Sports Bash. He makes his appearance courtesy of those guys, and he's kind enough to join us on the Boardwalk Honda Hotline. The Eagles get off the schneid last week, Sal Pal. You called a cover. You didn't say they were going to be an outright winner.
Yeah, well, I'm not crazy. But, I know where to lay the money sometimes. Once in a while, Mike Gill, once in a while. Thank you to Johnny G, Griner team at the Berger Realty. Great guys down in Ocean City. Thank you for supporting this radio station and my appearance on this great show. I really appreciate it. Looking forward to seeing him down in Ocean City soon.
Well, I know he's happy with an Eagle win. And how'd they get it done, man? What was different? How did they pull it together on the road against, a banged up but good San Francisco team? What changed? What impressed you?
Defense, make the quarterback turn the ball over. That's an important number 1, 2, and 3. And then once in a while, make plays. Who needs Alshon Jeffrey when you got Travis Fulgham? Come on. I think that was obviously extremely important. Carson was telling him as they were going into the huddle, be ready, man. You got to be ready when your number's called, Mike Gill. And I would say those are number 1 and number 2, and then Jordan Mailata played right out of his Australian cleats.
Well, they got a tough one this week against Pittsburgh, so let's kind of focus on that because you just mentioned a lot of guys who were going to have to be counted on again. Alshon Jeffrey will not play. I would imagine that Deshaun Jackson is not going to play, and if he does, he's probably limited again. So you're looking at the same core of wide receivers. You got Mailata lined up against Bud Dupree. Can they recreate what they did on Sunday night?
Well, that's a big loaded question, and I would say the answer is no. They won't be able to recreate exactly what happened on Sunday night. First of all, the Steelers are not going to turn the ball over. Ben Roethlisberger, he's been pretty honest about the fact that the NFL canceled the game in Tennessee and what it did to the psyche of the team. They were on a roll. He comes back from elbow surgery. He's got it all going on. Then they got to shut it down unexpectedly. An unexpected bye. I realize that's the tough break in the city and what we're dealing with, and he's got to, suck it up. But still, you do have to play, and it's not easy to get the body revved up and then, shut it down and get it revved up again, and that's what he admitted. So the old question, rust or rest, right?
Mm-hmm.
Will they be stale? Or will they be ready to play? And I think it'll be a little of both on offense. On defense, I just don't see it. I see the Steelers as always ready. They have been in their history. They've been blitzing the quarterback since I was 12 years old, and they're still doing it. Like, did you know that they blitzed the quarterback this year? 54% of the opponent's dropbacks. That's not only number 1 in the NFL. If it holds, it would be number 1 by any team in the NFL in the last 15 years, dating back to 2005.
Yeah, and I know going back to the Andy Reid days, the Eagles always seem to struggle against a 3-4 look, which is what Pittsburgh brings. So they get you guys, and that's where I'm a little concerned with Mailata. You don't see a lot of 3-4s, but that could be the area where they show him some looks that he really hasn't seen yet. Because last week he had a guy lined up over him pretty much the entire night.
Yet, those are all true. But the Eagles historically have not really had that much problem with Pittsburgh. Their overall record historically is way above 500. And if you remember in Carson Wentz's rookie year, Ben Roethlisberger got his face mask handed to him by Carson Wentz.
Yeah. What was that, like 36 to 6? It was like 36 to 6, right?
I don't think they scored 6 points. I'm not sure if they did, but yes, it was a wipeout.
It was, and it's funny you bring that up because obviously both these teams like to get to the quarterback, and in an advanced age, Roethlisberger, he was always good at eluding But the Eagles, they rushed the passer pretty well the last two games. So do we have faith that that's something they can do against this Pittsburgh offensive line, which is better than it's been in the past?
Right. So that's exactly my point. My point is the strength of both of these teams, the Steelers and the Eagles, is the front seven, mostly the front four for Philadelphia. And so if they can get after Ben, if Ben is a little rusty, a little stale, as he's proclaiming that he is, they're going to be in the game. They're going to be in the game. I remember saying to you last week, I think, that for whatever it is, the Eagles have always had success in San Francisco and in California. Whenever they've had their backs to the wall, when they go to California, they seem to just play well. And I think that's the case in Pittsburgh.
Well, they'll go to Pittsburgh. You can hear the game right here on 97.3 ESPN. And obviously they're going to go. I want to ask you, too, about the linebacking situation. Schwartz said that Geary's been good, that, people on the outside of the building, they don't know what they're talking about. But, he does more good than bad. Then Edwards got hurt. The kid Singleton comes in the game, made the interception. Is that an area that the Steelers can exploit? Because, man, Kittle just killed him the other night.
Yeah, that will be. Absolutely. But Ben's going to go deep to Juju Smith-Schuster. You know he's going to do that. He's going to test the Eagles. That's the thing that the Eagles absolutely cannot afford to do. Get behind early with the deep ball. Because then what happens? Then, that 54% blitz on Carson Wentz becomes 64%, 74%. Before you know it, Carson Wentz is dropping back 49 times, and, they're climbing all over him for 4 quarters. So that's the key. Let Ben dink and dunk. That's fine.
Yeah.
Don't give up the big play, and for gosh sakes, don't turn it over. Don't give that Eagles defense a short field.
Were you, I don't know, did Carson Wentz show you enough that he's coming around? Because I think it was 2 weeks ago that you mentioned that, it's like Chuck Knobloch syndrome that he has. Here we are 2 weeks later. Does it feel like he's turning the corner a little bit?
No. Go back and watch the game, and then look at the numbers. The numbers in his performance match up, Mike. Look at the number of passing yards per game. Mike, they've gone down each of the last 4 weeks. Down. Each of the last 4 weeks. Doesn't even come close to 300 yards. In a season where we have a record number of points scored, A, and a record number of touchdowns thrown, B. The Eagles are just not partaking in this gluttony of points.
No, in fact, they're one of the worst offenses going right now. And you mentioned they got no big play guys right now. Does that change when he gets his guys back, or is this what it is? Like if he has Deshaun, Alshon, Rieger playing in the second half of the year, is this what we're still seeing, or will that evolve as he gets guys back?
Mike, that's like asking me, does that change for me once I get my brown hair back and I get rid of all the gray?
Well, we're hoping that he had training camp with all those guys, and then all of a sudden you take him away. He's got to start to learn how to use new guys all of a sudden.
That's where you're supposed to say, no, Sal. You look good either way.
You look great, man. You look great.
No, but you know what I'm saying. It's a bunch of ifs. Who knows? We don't know. All we know is what we see, and he's still aiming the ball. He's still missing the field. That's all true. He made a great play to Travis, who made a great play on the ball at a critical juncture. Let's call it what it was. That's what it was. And they got Mullins and then the other guy to turn it over. I love when people say, well, C.J. Beathard had played the whole game, the Eagles would have lost. Yeah, if Joe Montana had played the whole game, the Eagles would have lost too.
Yeah, I mean, it was just two banged-up teams. The battle of attrition, you got to get through that in this season. By the way,
I've been saying that for weeks, Michael. Weeks I've been saying. That's why it's so difficult to predict. When people say, well, is he going to get better when his players get better? Which players? Coming back. A, we don't know. We don't know who's testing positive. We don't know who's out there. We have all these soft tissue injuries because there's no preseason.
Right.
No preseason games. Hardly any hitting in camp. You're seeing it all over the place. But what we're not seeing is this. And this is important. And this is the reason why the NFL has said, go ahead and have your offensive holding. They don't want the quarterbacks to get hurt. The ratings will really suffer if the quarterbacks go down. And while we've seen injuries and attrition, we haven't seen the widespread injury at the quarterback position. And that is by design.
A lot of quarterbacks, yes, have remained upright this season. That's a good point. By the way, Roethlisberger.
By the way, did you see Doug Pederson? Doug Pederson, I believe, have your guys down at AC. Check this out. I do believe Doug Pederson has the best record against the spread of any head coach in the last 10 years in the league, straight up.
That I have to take a look at. That we definitely want to look into. Best record in the league.
I think it is.
All right. Doug Pederson. What do you like? So, Doug Pederson versus Tomlin. Who do you like there?
I like Dougie P.
All right. I mean, Tomlin's, I don't know. I mean, he's widely regarded as one of the best. He's just been there so long, I guess. People almost forget that he's been there because there's so much turnover there. But I think that's interesting because I thought Pederson got the better of Shanahan last week.
All right, here it is. I got the number for you. I just looked it up. I just pulled it out of my briefcase. Doug Pederson, outright, as an underdog, including the playoffs, has the best win percentage of any head coach in the Super Bowl era.
Huh.
Excuse me.
Huh. Against the number.
I'm telling you, outright, as an underdog, including the playoffs.
Oh, outright as an underdog.
Outright. Mike. Outright as an underdog. How about that? Since the Super Bowl era.
Makes sense.
Of any head coach.
Well, it makes a lot of sense. They were the underdog in every game in the playoffs for the last couple of years, right? And they won 3-4 against the Bears. I mean, that's a heck. They won last week outright. That was a 9-point spread, too.
He's won how many head coaches can say they've won 17 outright as an underdog in their career? 17.
Yeah, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. Well, they're in that spot.
You like that number?
I do
like that number.
I like that number a lot, by the way. They're in that spot.
That's why Johnny G is paying me to be on Mike Gill. Right there. That's it.
I like that number a lot. They're going to need to do it again. If they are to do it, Sal Powell, what are those keys?
Don't turn the ball over. Don't turn the ball over. Don't turn the ball over. If they don't turn the ball over, they will win the game. Mike, listen to me. If they don't turn the ball over, they're good enough to beat the Steelers. And I think they will, unfortunately, turn the ball over. And I think that they will lose, but they will cover. And I think they'll lose 23-20.
All right, 23-20. Sal Powell here on a Sal Powell Friday on the Sports Bash Live on 97.3 ESPN. Don't forget, we've got it coming up. It is Merrill and Mike. They'll have the call right here on 97.3 ESPN, the Eagles and the Steelers. He's Sal Paolantonio, and he like all.
You liked that number, didn't you? You liked it, huh? Got excited about that. Hey, listen,
no, I like that you pulled it out of your briefcase. I like that you had it in the briefcase and pulled it right out live on the air.
I get that stuff from Evan Kaplan of ESPN Stats and Information. He's the guru, but I call him the rabbi. He's the man.
Speaking of ESPN Stats and Information, which I have up in front of me here, the Steelers have caused a sack or duress on 43% of dropbacks. Not good news for Carson Wentz because he has not been good when pressured.
Yeah, and see, the thing is, I'm going to call your show next week, and you'll be like, Sal, pal, you called him to cover, but you didn't call him to win. And I'm going to say, Mike, I'm smart, but I'm not crazy.
Hey, let's keep that rolling. Let's say, hey, they're covered but not win. We'll see if that can keep that going. It is a Sal Paolantonio, Sal Pal Friday here. Thanks to Johnny G and the people at Burger who supply each week Sal Pal here on the Sports Bash. Sal, have a great weekend, my friend.
Hey, stay positive, test negative, brother.
That's a good one. I like that. All right. Thanks to Sal Paolantonio here on the Sports Bash.